Call me Master Zen cause I'm a flicky bands.
Oh, gift ball. You see the stupid title, man? About to be a weird video. I get to it.
When people talk about this show, it's often in the pretense of moments coming off as like stupid or silly, especially out of context.
Nah, I ain't got no problem with the freakiness is what pisses me off, but I still watch this, so let me shut the hell up.
But the most insane part about JoJo to me, no matter how stupid something looks, this show always has a sound explanation for it. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Watching JoJo just feels like I'm constantly being gaslit into believing the dumbest shit I've ever witnessed in my entire life is completely normal. It's either that or there is no elaboration. We're just supposed to believe it's possible to pin 10 grenades to somebody's back while they weren't looking. Before I dive into some examples of this, and trust me, there are lots. It's pretty much the whole premise of the show. I have to briefly explain the many parts of JoJo's bizarre adventure, just so we're on the same page.
The freak nigga.
Phantom Blood follows the story of Jonathan Joestar, the only child of a rich, wealthy businessman, George Joestar. The kind, honest, and gentle life of Jonathan is turned upside down when George adopts the son of the man who he thinks saved his life in a wreck, when in reality, Dario Brando was just trying to loot the jewelry off of George's body. And this is how you know that Dio was never gonna be up to any good. The first 30 seconds of his father's appearance, he's looting supposed dead bodies. The first 30 seconds of Dio, he jumps out of a carriage, hits a mean-ass pose, looks at JoJo, and kicks his damn dog. From the very beginning, Dio's plan was to make JoJo's life as miserable as possible to steal the Joestar's fortune. And by the way he was doing him, you would have thought Jonathan f***ed this nigga's mom on some low-tier guy shit. You would have thought Jonathan played ass-naked Twister with Dio's fucking mom.
Nah, bro. You would literally think this man pillaged villages, summoned demons, cause all type of destruction and mayhem. Hell nah.
He's fighting dirty against him. He's spreading rumors, isolating him from his friends, assaulting his girlfriend, victimizing him behind George's back, and poisoning George, tossing his dog in the incinerator.
Yo! And they say enemies for kids. Yeah, alright.
Bro. It's worth noting that there's a video on YouTube right now that's almost 3 minutes of Jonathan just beating Dio's ass. Despite being bested by Jonathan multiple times, one thing that can't be understated is his determination to get up and be twice the hating ass nigga that he was yesterday. Today he touched JoJo's girlfriend and get pieced up instantly. Tomorrow he stabs JoJo's father and becomes a vampire that regenerates his wounds, starts an army, and so on and so on. It's low-key inspirational in like a cosmic sort of way.
What?
The last time we were supposed to see Dio, Jonathan chopped his arms off, sliced him in half, and punched a hole through his chest. I'm like 90% sure that is an actual Mortal Kombat fatality. Now after this, it was as if the story of the two brothers had come to a conclusion, with Jonathan on a cruise ship with his pregnant wife, Erina, leaving to America for their honeymoon. It was then where he was once again reunited with Dio. And
I'm like, they can't keep getting away with this shit, man. But my stupid ass still watch the anime because it's still tough or interesting.
Because no villain is complete without a dick-rotting ass nigga beside him. This guy was here too. I'm telling you, this dude is a literal cockroach. He pulling up on Jonathan with his head preserved in a glass container, and he's still talking crazy, saying he finna steal JoJo's body. This ain't even about the Joestar fortune anymore. He just mad about what he did to his mom. I'm telling you. Dio's assistant bit one person who turned into a zombie. And you know the rest. With JoJo's last bit of power, he caused an explosion and stayed on the sinking ship with Dio's head as his wife escaped in a coffin with another infant found in the ship. This was the conclusion of part 1.
Not that situation you think this nigga finna die. What the hell? On my screen.
There is a reason for why I've neglected to mention the power system of this and the following part of JoJo. They tie in together much more than the others. See, Hamon is an ancient form of martial arts that, through controlled breathing, allows its user
to punch frogs.
Honestly, It allows its user to do whatever the hell Araki wants them to do. It has its uses that are largely tied with the overarching theme of the stories that utilize it, if that makes sense. Hamon is manifested energy identical to that of the sun, which in turn is basically the kryptonite to the antagonizing forces of parts 1 and 2. Will Antonio Zappelli is a Hamon master and the man who first introduces Jonathan to this ability to aid in defeating Dio. Jojo was fresh out of the hospital with a broken arm from a fight with Dio just before. And Zappelli walks up to this man. Wait, no.
Huh?
I have to tell you, Zappelli is a complete random stranger sitting around in a park up to this point. Zappelli leaps towards this man, stabs him in the guts with his pinky. Stay with me now.
What?
With his pinky, and it heals Jonathan's arm. Understand that if
okay, now I see why you say it. Like, bro, once you have it, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
that confused you, it is only going to get worse, buddy. For some reason, it's the most versatile power you've ever seen in your life. In part 2, Zappelli is succeeded by his grandson, who is also a Hamon master, Caesar Zappelli, who somehow got so good at controlling Hamon. He kissed a girl and it made her walk up and choke a 6'5", 200-pound nigga with an iron grip and throw his ass in a fountain. I don't know why this bitch made out with the Hamon master and thinks she Ronda Rousey. Mind you, this power system is made for vampires and zombies and the main villains of part 2, which we'll get to shortly. But outside of that, I'm telling you, they're just freestyling everything. How did Zappelli find out he could heal somebody by stabbing them with his pinky? How many times has he done that? Does it have to be with that pinky specifically? Like, what about a thumb or an index finger?
Is there like an amount of pressure you're supposed to apply, or just throw them motherfucking finger?
Just don't get it. There are no stands yet. So for most of part 2, 18-year-old Joseph Joestar is not very good at manipulating Hamon. And I kid you not, Joseph wins almost all of his fights, not off the power of friendship,
Straight
the
hands.
power of rage bait. Battle tendency is rough.
Wrong nigga. I'm thinking about another Joestar. Yo, they confused, man. Joestar, what about yeah, bro? Yeah.
Roughly around
Obviously, everybody's favorite is the nigga that does. I don't know his name, my nigga. All I know, he's a Joestar. Which Joestar? Josephine? I don't know, bro.
50 years after Phantom Blood, and it mainly centers Joseph and his journey of becoming strong enough to defeat the 4 newly awakened Pillarmen: Santana, AC/DC, Wamu, and Cars. They are a superhuman species that are immune to nearly everything but sunlight and Hamon, and also might have the hardest main villain theme of all time. What I love about part 2, every single fight Joseph has is pretty much just Bugs Bunny versus Radon. Because for what he lacks in Hamon dexterity and the discipline of a trained fighter, he makes up for handsomely in being an extremely clever craftsman that also has the power of cartoon logic by his side, making him virtually unbeatable. Example. Back in part 1, Jonathan did not fight Dio and his minions alone. He had help from Zappelli and the other Hamon masters, including Straitzl. Straitzl makes an appearance in part 2, but he is not the man he used to be. He was extremely envious of Dio and his immortality, which drove him to become a vampire himself to stop aging. His first target was Joseph Joestar. Need I remind you, at this point, Joseph is not a trained fighter and isn't very good at manipulating Hamon, and also is up against a vampire. So what does he do? First, he emptied a whole clip on his ass, but that doesn't work. So then he throws a grenade at him. Then Straitzl does this little gay ass swipe. I don't know why he did it like that. Only for the grenade to unpin the other 10 grenades on his fucking back. When and how did Joseph find time to pin 10 grenades behind Straitzl?
Hey, bro, if you go into watching this anime, like, and you're serious about it, bro, just go like a... Just watch this anime if you're high, if you use drugs, or like, I don't know. I really wonder if I was drunk, because I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker, but I prefer drinking. Bro, I wonder what experience would I get watching the whole show while drunk, my nigga. Yo, it's finna be crazy.
Where are you even keeping 10 grenades? Usually when something like really out of pocket happens, they follow it up by an in-depth explanation as to why or how it happened. They didn't explain shit. This just happened. It's worth noting that even after literally getting his back blown out by 10 grenades, he still regenerated. To which Joseph saw and ran away. Which is completely understandable. Despite the regeneration, he still lost the battle to absolutely nobody's surprise. Because, look, you cannot compete with somebody that pinned 10 grenades behind you while you were speaking to them. Joseph literally channeled the power of the world to pull that shit off. There is no other way. There are a lot of moments like these in part 2 specifically, which is one of the reasons why it's still my favorite part. There's this one scene where Joseph is riding in a motorcycle through a desert for quite some time, but briefly stops as he feels he is being followed. He goes to check a random jacket flying in the wind and decides maybe it's only his imagination. Just as he says that, a guy comes out of the flying jacket with a knife and stabs Joseph. Like, what on God's green ass earth? Guy comes out of a flying jacket with a knife. Nobody has ever said that string of words in the history of human race. Of course, the first time it said it has to be about Jojo. How are you even keeping up with a motorcycle? This dude is riding on a flying jacket. He think he Aladdin or some shit. On top of that, just look at him. You have to have been conceived in the same factory where they made Feng Wei from Tekken. There's just no way you two aren't related. This was in the 1930s, so my headcanon is this guy is Feng Wei's grandpa. And for some godforsaken reason, that butt chin outlasted multiple generations, still standing today, even if he doesn't look too happy about it. Mind you, this is no Photoshop, no makeup, no nothing. He just looked like this Monday through Friday. When I make part 2 of
Bro, grow a fucking beard, my nigga.
the Tekken list on
What if he like me, he can't grow a beard? Fuck.
my mama, I'm finna dig in this nigga so hard. It is not gonna be make part 2 of the Tekken list on my mama. He just looked like this Monday through Friday. When I make part 2 of the Tekken list on my mama, I'm finna dig in this nigga so hard. It is not gonna be a good day for anybody named Feng Wei. I promise you that. The thing with Joseph is you never know how he's gonna win. Ever. Again, for most of part 2, he's not a trained fighter in anything other than the art of rage baiting and insane outplaying. And it always has to do with Hamon. So sometimes he wins by using Hamon on a cactus or deflecting vampire beams with a Hamon-infused shot glass. Hamon-infused hair strains. Hamon-infused Coca-Cola bottle. This nigga is literally just doing shit. You can say a lot of things about Joseph, but one thing you can't say is that he is not resourceful. And I think that was a very large factor as to why part 2 was so good to me. Like, if the main character were anybody but Joseph, it just wouldn't work. But a lot of the silliness is synonymous with Jojo as a whole, not just Joseph. You will see exactly what I'm referring to in part 3. Stardust Crusaders follows Jotaro Kujo, who would then be accompanied by Kakyoin,
Yeah, this is more my speed.
Avdol, Polnareff, and our old friend Joseph, in a journey to get rid of our older, much older friend, Dio, who makes a return after 100 years. Wait, but wasn't he just a head? Didn't he die along with Jonathan in part 1 in the Oh. No, because somehow the
Okay. Sorry.
this motherfucking cockroach managed to fuse his head with Jonathan's body.
Yeah.
This part centers the gang traveling all the way from Tokyo to Dio's lair in Egypt and all of the different enemies that Dio sends after to stop them. Getting rid of Dio is something that the entire world would honestly benefit from, but Jotaro is mainly in this to save the life of his mother Holly, who's fallen incredibly ill. I'll explain why later, because first I have to address that it is at this point in JoJo's where stands are introduced. Hamon is still present, what with Joseph still being a part of the main cast, but stands as a whole start to take over rather quickly. Despite only just becoming a thing, at this point in time, it's just about as ancient as Hamon is. The history of stands dates back tens of thousands of years when a meteorite crashes into an underpopulated region of Greenland. This meteorite inhabited a deadly virus that would lay dormant for the next few centuries until the meteorite is discovered by an excavation team in 1978. However, several hundred years before this discovery, a man seeking godlike power would use this meteorite material to craft arrows from it. Keep these arrows in mind, because these arrows would later be discovered in 1986, in a completely different location to where the meteorite was found. The arrows crafted from this material would strip the life away from anybody that did not possess the quality that would allow them to overcome it. Should they overcome it, this meant that they would awaken an ability within them that would typically be a reflection of their personality, a manifestation of their spirits, or a personification of their psyche. This ability will also—
It's crazy. I watched the anime, but I'm not gonna lie, bro. I didn't understand where the fuck them stands came from. Hey, shit, lost in translation, man.
vary greatly from person to person. Some people have— This ability will also vary greatly from person to person. Some people have stands that are close range and deal a great amount of damage with efficient speed.
What nigga, you laughing?
Others are long-range stand and can be used tactically to scout an area. Many have the ability to manipulate the environment around them, and others have the ability to heal. Understand that this power system is home to the same series that at one point had the main character pin 10 grenades to someone's back and did not elaborate. So
maybe a lot of niggas complain that's why they changed the story.
It's not going to be the most consistent with its foundation at times.
Yeah.
Back to these stand arrows.
Bro, thank you, man. You just explained literally why I was not able to understand nothing in that show. I still watched it. Bro, damn, man.
They were found in Egypt by an archaeologist team that was accompanied by Diavolo. The young man would then steal 6 arrows, selling 5 of them to an old woman named Enya, and keeping one for himself. Diavolo would then use this large sum of money to start the large organization that would later be known as Burger King. The reason I say all of this is because from here on out, if you were not hit by a stand arrow, you most likely inherited a stand through your family. There are, however, certain cases where people are literally just born with their stand. This old lady used one of her stand arrows on Dio, which unlocked a very powerful stand. Because Dio occupies the body of Jonathan Joestar, this awakened the stands in the Joestar bloodline, including Joseph, Jotaro, and Holly. Which is why she grew ill, as she does not possess the quality that would help her overcome the sickness. Now, over the course of this part, the Joestar gang make their way to Egypt, while Dio sends countless of his loyal stand-using minions to stop the crew. And I gotta say, the variety in his minion selection, this nigga does not discriminate. He wants you, Uncle Sam face ass nigga, DEI face ass nigga. Dio is still getting used to Jonathan's body, so he is very weak, which explains how desperate he is to stop them. On top of that, he said multiple times that he is very cautious not to underestimate the Joestars, which also explains why he's shooting anything and everything under the damn sun with them arrows. Do you know how bad you have to want a nigga gone to send an orangutan after you? An orangutan did not inherit no damn stand. He got hit with it, man. I don't know if it was Dio's idea or the old lady, but you don't accidentally shoot an orangutan. That was fully intentional. I haven't even gotten to the fact that its stand is an entire freighter. The contents of the stand is more luck-based than anything. Some are very powerful, some just aren't. Some, whether they be powerful or not, will work against you. But how he got one in the first place cannot be ignored. It was ignored, but it cannot be ignored. Which came first? Did they look at a random ass orangutan and said, this is the one, shoot him?
Fuck it, man, shoot that nigga, man.
Or did that orangutan already have the stand when they got to him? This is no regular orangutan, mind you. This is a cigarette smoking Playboy magazine reading orangutan. Nigga, I know you speak English too. You just don't talk cause you—
Back to the goofy shit of the Jojo. The enemy. We was complaining about the first seasons or the first parts being way too goofy, not understand what the hell going on. They said, you know what? Man, fuck y'all niggas. Y'all hating the way we write our shit? We just gonna throw a random orangutan in that bitch.
You're not trying to pay taxes. You own an entire freighter and the IRS don't know about it? Oh, I'm snitching. I'm on your ass. I'm finna do levels of snitching previously thought to be impossible.
On,
they finna
man.
call me the LeBron James of snitching when I'm done with you. You would have thought they was feeding me Popeyes in the interrogation room. I'm on your ass. I'm telling you. You are a fat nigga in an orangutan suit that owes the IRS millions of dollars. You lucky Jotaro got to you before I did. In fact, I'm almost certain this was Dio's idea. Again, do you know how bad you have to want somebody gone to hire a newborn baby on your app? Dio got ages 1 to 100 sliding for him like Mr. Beast or some shit. There's a small chance the baby inherited a stand. Stardust Crusaders mainly takes place in 1989, 3 years after the stand arrows were found, stolen, and sold. This baby is 11 months old. We don't know the parents. We only know that Dio sent the baby to the gang. And at this point, the old lady that bought the arrows from Diavolo had already used the arrows on multiple people, including herself. I can't prove that Dio shot that baby with that arrow. But what I can tell you is that he don't give a fuck that it's a baby. In part 1, when he was a vampire, he turned a pleading mother with her baby into a zombie and gleefully watched as she ate her own baby. So I think it's safe to say...
Wait, why am I yo, that's bad, bro. I cannot be laughing. That was fucked up. The first time I saw it, I'm like, yeah, bro. What the fuck niggas do we talking about when they say animes for kids, man? This is diabolical.
That if your baby is anywhere around this man, that little nigga is not seeing kindergarten. Now again, that wasn't no regular baby neither. As you could probably tell by that big ass head, this was a genius baby. That means this little ass baby was handpicked and also knew exactly what he was doing and what he was sent to do. He couldn't talk in real life, but his stand was Death 13. This is a stand that exists only in the dreamscape. When anyone falls asleep near the stand user, they are pulled into Death 13's dream world, where they themselves cannot use their stand to retaliate and are almost completely defenseless. And once you wake up, you don't have any memory of what happened, so you can't just wake up and tell someone. This is a complete contrast to how it is when they are awake, where the baby can't do anything and is completely defenseless, as babies tend to be, I think. The only way they beat the stand was when Kakyoin activated his stand. He declared that he was going to slay this defenseless baby while hitting this mean-ass pose and got knocked out by Polnareff. Because to the rest of the team, it looked like he was going insane. He's literally beefing with a baby like this nigga's Heihachi or some shit. This led to Kakyoin sleeping with his stand activated, bringing it into Death 13's world. There were a lot of really cool stands here and there in 3. The gang at one point was chased by a stand that was a car, which after bringing up the orangutan and the baby, it honestly doesn't sound too bad. I've said before in this video that Jojo likes to show something really silly and then provide a thorough explanation that may or may not make sense when you think about it. But the times when they don't do that, it is so annoying. The gang are driving in Pakistan on their way to Egypt when they encounter...
My brother, why you say Pakistan like that, man? Pakistan.
It is so annoying. The gang are driving in Pakistan on their way to Egypt when they encounter another car that they later realize seems to be following them. They give chase and the driver reveals himself to be a stand user. The car itself, Wheel of Fortune, morphs into a transformer thing and shoots gasoline bullets that penetrate the body of Kakyoin, Polnareff, and Jotaro. It is later revealed that these gasoline bullets were meant for him to set off a spark. That spark would then set Jotaro on fire. Except no, he didn't get set on fire. That crispy ass corpse lying on the ground was actually his jacket. His explanation was essentially that he actually used Start Platinum to dig a hole in the ground. You know, no, stop. Stop, I'm not doing this. Rewind the footage.
Say that one more time.
Look! Look! That's you! That is you! When did you dig a hole with Start Platinum? Maldito baboso del diablo. You spontaneously combusted while 5 people stood and watched in agony. Except for one who was laughing the whole time. But I'm sorry, like, you did not dig that hole, bruh. I love Jojo, but Araki, you know they not going in, bro. You just be throwing that bitch up. You don't care if it hit backboard. I neglected to mention one crucial detail of the game. And that is that one of the members is a grimy ass stray dog. Now I don't mean it like that. I love dogs. But Iggy gotta be the shiestiest dog I've ever seen. Again, don't ask me how. I'm really trying my best to explain this shit. He got a stand too. I have no idea. It's not explained. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a whole bunch of Boston Terriers walking around that same city with the same stand. Look at the way the stray dog was living. Perro del Diablo. That little ass dog had a whole roster. Why that dog get more bitches than me? This is where I tell you that Araki for sure got.
Well, no, hold on. Generally, dogs get more action than us. So, come on, man.
Some type of beef with dogs. This is well discussed in the JoJo community, but this is a genuine critique of mine because every time there is a dog on screen, you just know the most disgusting thing is about to happen to it at some point, like 9 times out of 10. I understand it's a common trope to showcase the cruelness of a villain, but it happens so many times, and I just think it got really annoying after the first 2 or 3 times. Like in part 1, Dio, famously known for his love of dogs, somehow turned one of his minions into a dog, which I didn't know vampires could do that. I don't know if he turned him into a zombie, then a dog. Maybe he was just like that when he found him. No fucking clue. Either way, he did it 2 different times, so clearly he was satisfied enough with the first result, miraculously. Anyways, he turned his minion into a dog. Then he hit him with that Mishima-style axe kick to conclude his grand total of about 16 seconds of screen time. Yes, I sat there and counted. And honestly, after about 5 more parts of stuff happening to dogs, it just never got funnier than that. Like after that, it was just like, oh.
Nigga, it was not funny at the same time. It's supposed to be diabolical. Man, the government better be watching your ass, man.
Another one bites the...
How was that even funny?
Part 4 centers Josuke, son of Joseph, in the fictional town of Morio. And for most of it, it's more of a...
The way this nigga gets angry when you make comments about his hair, he's a fucking anime character. But even me, I'm like, I don't want no problems, man. I want to say, bro, I was literally about to explain, bro, this nigga was getting mad because of his ugly ass hair. I'm fearing for my life a little bit. Like, bro.
Slice of life anime with some stand action sprinkled in, centered around the shenanigans of the main cast, which include Jotaro, Koichi, and dearest Jobro, Okuyasu. With this part, we get a lot more lore behind the developing population of stand users, which brings us back to this old lady, who by the way has 2 right hands. One of the 5 stand arrows she bought from Diavolo was given to a man named Yoshihiro Kira, who used this arrow on himself, his son, and anybody he could to protect his son from the main cast. See, his son would grow to become a very important person to this part, but I won't say much because I want to make a separate video exploring his story in depth later on. Another one of the stand arrows she got from Diavolo would be found in Morio, possessed by a Keicho Nijimura. Pretty much everybody who has possessed an arrow at some point, they have their own motives, but kinda just end up shooting anybody. So needless to say, there are a lot of different stands we encounter in this part. One of the people he actually shoots is his own brother Okuyasu. Now, Okuyasu isn't a very smart person. Might be top 5 dumbasses in JoJo. The thing about Okuyasu is he low-key has one of the most overpowered stands in the whole part. The hand is a close-range stand that with one swipe can effectively erase all space while occupying it with a neighboring space. He can use it to travel faster towards things, bring things closer to him, or simply to just eradicate anything that was in that space. This is easier to just show you, so hopefully I have a clip displaying exactly this on screen right now, which I also want to point out that, yes, I do all the editing for my videos. Most of y'all notice at this point, but sometimes I get a few comments every now and then that be asking me who's my editor. Nigga, me. Why do you think this shit takes so long? But I love stands like this where it's really only as strong as the user is smart. Don't misunderstand this as me saying that he doesn't know how to use his stand at all. He very often displays a rich understanding of the hand from time to time. But it's just the sheer height of that stand's skill ceiling that makes me wish it were used more.
I think it would have been too OP and then fuck up the whole story. And the story, the enemy will not go in their direction that he wants, I think.
This part is home to one of my favorite moments in all of JoJo, and one of the main reasons why I got into it so long ago. I'm telling you, bro, for every out of context clip you see of this show, it literally would not make sense even if I explained it to you. The paper you see belongs to a stand named Enigma, whose user is known as Enigma Boy. This is a stand that acts on fear. When he senses that you're scared for whatever reason, Enigma captures you. I know exactly what you're asking right now. What does paper have to do with that? Why did he pull out the heater? Why can he turn himself into paper? And where did that taxi come from? What I've especially found really weird about this stand is he can't capture anybody unless they show signs of fear specifically. But for anything else, he can just do whatever the fuck he wants with them. He was throwing all kinds of shit in that paper. like scorpions, cars. How do you enclose fire and electricity within a sheet of? You know what?
You're asking too many questions, bro.
I should have stopped asking questions like 20 minutes ago. For every supposed answer, there's another 15 possible questions. I don't know why at the end of this arc, Josuke beat this nigga up so bad. He turned into a book. He turned into a book that was kept in a library, and he's now a popular landmark of the town. Like, you can walk up to the library and read it. You can literally read him. What's funny about the gun part specifically is that a similar thing happened to Joseph, if you remember. Except that was without stance. So it was just a thing that happened. And at this point, I just wonder how many more things are just gonna happen. Speaking of Joseph, he also makes an appearance in this part as well. And no funny shit, man. Seeing Joseph like this, there's something about seeing fictional characters visibly age that really hits different. Witnessing Joseph in part 2 to 3 to 4, it feels like seeing your parents age. Like, if I would ever see Goku with gray hairs, hunched over with a cane like Joseph, I think I would cry real tears. Not out of sadness, but like, damn, bruh. This reminds me of King of the...
Nigga, isn't that sadness? Like, damn, bruh. Nigga, I feel sad when I see my... Man, they done butcher my nigga Naruto, bro. Why the hell did they turn my nigga Naruto into a fucking middle-aged lesbian shorty, man? My nigga Sasuke, they cut his hand off. They made that nigga lame and fuck.
Hill, and how they're like rebooting the series with Bobby and Hank and Peggy being a little older. I never really cared for King of the Hill, but seeing them visibly age, that just... I don't know. I just like when fiction mirrors that aspect of life.
Yo, bro, a nigga... I don't know why this just remind me of something. These niggas would literally... Someone would literally get their ass beat, and then the outro be a fucking R&B song. Like, what? The nigga screaming, fuck me, no! Don't kill me! Outro. It's like, bruv. Or they leave you on the cliffhanger and they play that yo. I hope he mentioned something like that, bro. Cause yo. Very artistic.
Since the introduction of stands in part 3, stands have gone from relatively simple to increasingly experimentative up to this point. But starting at part 4 and especially part 5, stands get like insanely specific to the point where it sounds like they're making it up on the spot. Or it's a fucking biology lesson. Part 5 centers a 15-year-old Giorno Giovanna. He was conceived by Dio with the body of Jonathan Joestar. So through that, he is as honorable as Jonathan and as ruthless as Dio. Giorno Giovanna dreams of overthrowing the leader of the strongest and most influential gang in the country of Italy. And to do so, he teams up with Bucciarati, Mista, Abacchio, Narancia, and Fugo, who altogether form
I ain't gonna lie, bro. The pronunciations, he got it, man. He got it. But that Pakistani one,
one of many different squads in this organization.
I ain't gonna lie. I wonder how would he say my name? Cause yeah, he going crazy with these pronunciations, man.
Now, because this team would later find themselves betraying and defying the orders of the boss, this creates a target on all of their backs that the rest of the members of this crime organization would stop at nothing to eliminate. On top of having some of the most complex stand battles up to this point, for some reason, Giorno is like the smartest, most resourceful 15-year-old to ever exist. You know how Joseph would win most of his fights off of like rage baiting and random shit infused with hamon? Giorno wins most of his fights because he's a complete fucking nerd about the most random shit. He has encyclopedic knowledge about nature and biology and animals and plants, and because of this, paired with his stand, he will come up with an antidote for an uncurable virus faster than Joseph can pin 10 grenades behind your back, and has deduced a lot of enemy stand powers and how to combat them within seconds of being hit with them. This man could low-key cure cancer, and he's too busy being a fucking gang member, bro. I would be extremely frustrated if I was up against this kid, man. Like, he gets hit with the stand that makes everybody rapidly age, some faster than others. Then, within seconds, he says, "Oh, well, maybe it's because women would typically have more fat in their bodies, thus making them less susceptible to temperature fluctuations." Giorno's stand is Gold Experience. The power to grant life to inanimate objects, whether it be turning a tooth into a fly, a banana into a gun, or a bullet into a beetle. The stand itself is a bit of a blank canvas that you probably wouldn't find that much use of if you weren't the smartest 15-year-old ever. Really quick, I want to explain one moment in a fight specifically, where he pulled some shit off that I still can't fully wrap my head around how the fuck he even thought of doing that shit. So as I've said before, his stand is Gold Experience. This is the power to grant life to inanimate objects. There was one point in a fight where all he had to fight back with was one bullet and the help of Mr. Stand Sex Pistols number 5. Giorno was in a helicopter.
Did he just say Sex Pistols? What the fuck?
And the help of Mr. Stand Sex Pistols number 5. Giorno was in a helicopter with Cioccolata. This is a guy whose stand is green tea. Green tea basically activates a mold that destroys any living creature should they fall from their elevation. Basically, the floor is lava. There was one point in this fight where Cioccolata positioned himself at a higher altitude, raising the threshold of the elevation in which the mold would attack. To combat this, Giorno shoots a bullet that turns into a tree to climb on, but then Cioccolata kicks Giorno off the helicopter to die. Mr. Stand Sex Pistols kicks a bullet to Giorno, and he makes a branch with that bullet that connects it to the helicopter. But Cioccolata then aims the helicopter downwards, which makes the mold destroy the branch, causing Giorno to fall once more. But Giorno then kicks a piece of wood from the branch, then he calculates an angle that allows him to revert the branch back to a bullet so he can get a headshot on Cioccolata. Then, with that same bullet, stages the birth of a beetle cocoon inside the guy's skull to explode in his head at the right time in order to finish him off with Gold Experience. This man at 15 turned a bullet into a branch, back into a bullet, then into a beetle cocoon. I am so sorry for breathing the same air as you bitch ass nigga. I promise I won't do it again. Like, there are so many cases where he does shit like this, which make me inexplicably furious. Giorno saw some people in the immediate vicinity getting ate alive by this mysterious mold-like substance, and the first thing he said was, this is a lot similar to Entapanapamamnamanagenic fungus and caterpillar fungus that is often found in various insects and bugs. Like, why do you fucking know that at a heartbeat's notice? How do you think of this not only from a writer's standpoint, but from Giorno's standpoint? There's not a single 15-year-old watching this that can do what Giorno did. I will say though, part 5 is home to some of my favorite stand designs in all of JoJo. I briefly mentioned Mr. Stand Sex Pistols, which is easily one of my 2 favorite stands in this part. One of my 3, to be honest. Sex Pistols is essentially a group of 6 mini sentient stands that are mostly used in conjunction with Misa's revolver, where they rebound, redirect, and sometimes fire shots without a weapon. But the thing is, every single one has its own personality. Number 5 and 3, they have this ongoing thing where number 3 will bully the other. 1 is like basically the charismatic leader, and 6 just be me mugging everybody for no reason. He might be the Raphael of the group. They bring a type of energy to this part that makes you forget, oh yeah, these niggas is gang affiliated. They catching bodies like a motherfucker. And you can say that for basically the entire crew. They gonna beat on your ass and bust out a choreographed
Fight back,
beat.
nigga.
And you could say that for basically the entire crew. They gonna beat on your ass and bust out a choreographed routine right after. They caught one of the members of the organization trying to ambush them. And the first thing they did was beat on their ass a little and bust out a dance routine amongst 3 people. Mind you, no easy feat by any stretch of imagination. I don't know how, where, and when these hooligans found time to perfect this, but they pulled this off once and never again. If I was them, I'd be busting it out every time I beat a nigga ass. Anyways, one last thing I want to talk about is another one of my favorite stands belonging to Rosado. Rosado is the leader of Squadra. This is a team under the same
I know that's a tough name, Squadro. Or Squadra.
to Rosado. Rosado is the leader of Squadra. This is a
Squadro. I know that's a tough ass name, man. Hey, we Squadro NAB, man.
team under the same organization that at this point in time opposes Jojo and his gang. But while their goals and motives differ, they share a desire to uncover the identity of the boss. From memory, I think Rosado only has 1 fight in this entire part. But this fight is both one of the best and also one of the hardest to watch. Rosado's stand is Metallica, a close-range stand that lets him freely manipulate all iron around him using magnetism. Mini science lesson here. Iron, if you
Don't humans got a little bit of metal in them?
know, comes in pretty much using magnetism. Mini science lesson here. Iron, if you don't know, comes in pretty much anything. Plants, food, dirt, sand, rocks, and most importantly, this is a vital mineral that everybody has, and being deficient of it can be life-threatening. Metallica is the ability to turn this mineral into metal. I repeat, Metallica is able to freely make sharp metal objects from the food you eating, the water you drinking, and the ground you walking. And because iron is also inside of you, he can spawn all types of metal inside of you as well. And because it's also using magnetism, he can forcefully pull it out of your body, which is exactly what he was doing in this fight. I'm not going to show this fight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, yeah. I'm glad you did that because, man, both of our channels will be gonzo.
Said it was extremely hard to watch at points. Like, this dude is spawning scissors inside people's throats and shit. I'm not a queefy person or anything, but Jojo wanna be doing Mortal Kombat fatalities and have the camera zoom in like the shit is fan service. Back the fuck up from the screen. Hey, no goon shit. I never seen this camera zoom up this close on some titties. The second
Man, real, bro. No. Real talk, bro. I'm finna pause it and see my shit. Real talk. They be overly zooming on niggas' balls, bro. Niggas, bro, that's the reason why, bro. I don't even, if I were to watch that shit again, bro, I'm not watching I'm watching the for me, the shorty shit. 2 shorties. I'm watching that shit. Or a shorty by herself DJing, man. That's the only, if you know what I mean. DJing. That's the only shit I'm watching. Bro, they be overly zooming in on, man.
Hold on. I know that sound crazy. I don't.
That is not
shut
crazy.
up. The second a nigga got razor blades coming out of his neck, David Productions. The second an animal get his head chopped all the way off, you wanna zoom up the ass on it like a close-up frame in SpongeBob. Never in my life have I clicked on a show or a movie and the sex scene or like a weird fan service moment made me not want to click off. But for the sake
Hey, man. Bro, there's a group that I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Bro, why you
the argument, I much rather one over the other. Rosado losing that fight was straight up plot armor. Maybe not even plot armor. Rosado losing was only because he was fighting the only other stand that was arguably just as overpowered. which we'll have to talk about in another video. I've had enough trying to explain the series that a nigga was just on the mic freestyling like Lil Wayne or some shit. I really want to keep talking about this show. It's a lot of topics that I would still like to cover on this show. Like, for example, I've recently watched part 6 while making this video. I want to read 7. I only hear good things about part 7, but Steel Ball Run is pretty much around the corner, so I might as well wait. I chose to do this next for the series, not because it's technically a fighting game series, but because one, I want to branch out of fighting games into other genres or forms of media, and two, why did my voice crack? And two, I love Jojo. I've already said this, I think, but parts 2 and 4 have always been my favorite. I'm already hearing some of y'all in my comments, damn, you're not gonna talk about this? Wow, bro, so you really not gonna talk about that? Too bad! Too bad! Anything I've not spoken about in this video may be grounds for a topic in a future video if you guys would like to see more.
Hey,
but
man.
for now, that is all for today's video.
Hey, I'm gonna see y'all boys, man. I gotta go. My stomach is crying for no reason. It's like, bro, I sit the whole day shooting videos, but I get tired like I was working a 9 to 5 or manual labor, man. I'm gonna see y'all boys. I'm going.
Call me Master Zen, cause I'm a flick the bands.